Discharging cargo from a bulk carrier is a critical function in the operation of a ship. Because at the time of discharge, both the quality and quantity of the cargo can be checked that it is the same as it was when loaded on the ship. If it is not, a claim against possible cargo losses may be filed against the ship. Why is it critical? Because this is the moment when the effectiveness of teamwork between head office staff and shipboard management will be judged to show how well the ship is operated and how safely the cargo has been carried. This video is going to deal with some of the main causes of cargo loss or damage and the measures which should be implemented to prevent these losses and so to reduce the number of claims. Cutting cargo losses and reducing the claims is critical to the financial strength of the company. A strong company can equip its ships properly. A strong company can look after its staff.
We're in the bosun's authority.
Yes, it is.
A strong company can provide secure jobs and training.
The achievements of the company have been recognized with the award of the ISO 9002 certificate.
Everyone in the team benefits along the line.
With the International Safety Management Code.
So where should maximum effort be applied to reduce cargo loss claims? Experience shows that most claims arise from not following correct operational procedures, resulting in shortage, for example, or moisture damage due to sweating by either the ship itself or by certain cargoes. Ingress of seawater into the holds is another common cause of cargo damage. So are infestation from previous cargo and contamination by oil from fuel tanks or leaking pipes. We need to look at these causes in more detail. Cargo loss prevention begins well before the ship arrives at the loading port. Having received their instructions from head office and the charterer, the master and the chief mate will double-check what preparation they should carry out on board ship before receiving the next cargo safely.
Hello, Chief.
Hello.
We've got the telex from the owners. The vessel has been fully fixed into time charter.
Yeah.
Steel products, 2 loading ports, 2 discharging ports, and charterers are requesting our preliminary calculations on a storage plan.
Each type of cargo will have its own special needs. Steel, wheat and fertilizers are particularly susceptible to claims. These cargoes must be given added attention. Here, head office management has a critical role to ensure that the ship's officers have all the information about the cargo and will be able to make the right decisions to ensure correct and safe carriage in accordance with the IMDG code or bulk cargo code.
That is okay.
The preparation will normally begin by cleaning and drying the cargo holds to avoid cargo contamination. The bilges are cleaned and tested at this early stage. Remember, one of the main causes of cargo loss is moisture or sweating. To avoid this, the humidity level of the atmosphere in the holds must be controlled. Fire flaps and dampers are checked and ventilators are opened.
All right, thank you.
The hatch covers must be checked to ensure that they are watertight. Any defects of the seals and pleating must be remedied at once. The key to watertightness is continuous planned maintenance. It is the role of head office management to ensure that this is in place. In the case of specialist cargoes, for example steel, the hatch covers must be tested for watertightness. Ship's management must ensure that the ship will arrive at the loading port fully prepared to receive the next cargo. Once the ship is moored, arrangements should be made for an early pre-loading draft survey. The hatch covers should not be moved during the draft survey. The chances are that the shipper will have his own survey done, and it would be an advantage to ensure that the results of the two surveys are agreed between the chief mate and the shipper.
Ship staff will have to regularly check the quality of the commodity.
Meanwhile, the master is discussing the charter party terms of handling and the local terminal hazards and cargo characteristics.
Cargo is stored on the open area.
That's very important. We have to check whether there is no salt accumulations driven by wind on this cargo.
These may influence the quantity or quality of the cargo to be shipped.
Yes, I have a preliminary information about what's going to be loaded.
The chief mate must ensure that the cargo is as described in the loading orders. He must also check the condition in which it was kept on shore. Check also on local hazards and work practices.
Well, first of all, we should identify if it's our cargo for load.
If the ship's staff notice anything which may lead to a dispute, the representative of the P&I Club should be contacted.
We can read this
In some cases, photographs are taken of the cargo on the quayside.
We have 1, 2, 3. 3 coils loose strapped, and this one also damaged. One strap is broken.
A full record
That
must be
one
kept
is
of all
broken.
observations.
One strap.
This is my planning to loading.
Now the cargo plan can be finalized and double-checked.
And the second folding port.
It should include the sequence and scheduling of bulk
Draft is
cargo.
okay. The stability is okay.
With the preparatory work complete, cargo operations can now commence. The loading process must be supervised and observed by ship's personnel throughout. Any deviation from the cargo plan and the agreed procedures must be accurately recorded. For example, if you're unhappy with securing or trimming of cargo, or if the loading had to be suspended and hatches closed due to bad weather. It's also important to check for any stevedore damage to tank tops, air pipes, or any other structural damage. Here again, photographs are useful.
So beside the
These matters are discussed immediately with the stevedores.
The P&I Club, rain doesn't harm the cargo. So they have to record these damages and to collect these damages to put onto a stevedore damage report, to present them to Victor or his
If any matter
assistant.
cannot be resolved, the P&I Club should be called in.
Of course,
As loading nears completion, the shippers will present the mate's receipt for signature.
The bundles with broken or missing straps.
Yes, but this is
This should not be signed if there is disagreement about the quantity or the quality of the cargo. In that case, the representative of the P&I Club should be requested to attend, and the master should issue a note of protest. Both the head office and the P&I Club should be notified of these events. The ship has now taken responsibility for the cargo. As soon as possible after loading, the cleaning and preparation work must begin prior to closing the hatches. The coaming tops should be checked to ensure that no damage has occurred during loading, which would result in sealing problems. The drainage channels must now be checked to ensure that they are clean and free of obstruction. The hatches can now be closed. This is an important process and should be supervised by a responsible officer. If the hatch covers are well maintained and secured correctly, they should be watertight. In an emergency, if the hatch covers are damaged and cannot be repaired immediately, sealing tape or expanded polystyrene may be used to ensure adequate watertightness. The cleating must be fastened to ensure maximum sealing performance. Finally, in accordance with charterer's instructions, the ventilation must be controlled to maintain the condition required for the particular cargo. Meanwhile, another draft survey is carried out by the ship. The representative of the shipper or charterer will also carry out their own draft survey. If possible, these results should be verified and agreed with the shipper and countersigned by both the shipboard management and the shipper. During the voyage, the hatch covers are to be inspected regularly, especially after bad weather. Lashings on steel cargoes should be checked daily. Bilge soundings are also checked daily and recorded, and any increase investigated and the causes remedied. Regular checks of air and sea temperatures, and in specific cases cargo hold temperatures, must be carried out, dew points computed, and the results logged for future reference. The appropriate ventilation levels in the holds must be maintained. This is specific to each type of cargo.
5 degrees, thank you. Have a good watch.
If in doubt, check the documentation from the shipper. If all the measures discussed earlier were carried out precisely, the chances are that the cargo will be found in as good a condition as it was when loaded. On arrival, a draft survey should be carried out, taking soundings, reading the draft marks, and checking the density of the water at the berth. Cargo should never be delivered unless the original bill of lading is produced, properly signed and endorsed. Only if the master is satisfied that the prevailing conditions are right should the hatch covers be opened and the discharge commenced. If the master is not satisfied, he should contact head office to obtain advice from the P&I Club, and the appropriate form of letter of indemnity should be obtained from the receiver. We said at the beginning that this is a critical moment, when the cargo is being discharged. This is where all the attention of the ship's officers and crew to the details of safe cargo management pays off, when the cargo is discharged without shortage or damage. Only then can we be sure that this voyage was a successful one. In summary, to combat cargo losses, make the ship ready and suitable to receive the next cargo before loading begins. Clean and dry the cargo holds. Check the bilges, the fire flaps and the ventilation system. Make sure that hatch covers are watertight and generally in good condition. Carry out an accurate pre-loading draft survey. Verify the handling and storage instructions of the charter party. Inspect the cargo on shore prior to loading, preferably with a P&I Club representative. Draw up an accurate cargo loading plan and agree it with the charterer's representative and the stevedore's foreman. Supervise the loading and record any deviation from the loading plan or any damage that occurs. Resolve any disputes on completion of loading before signing the mate's receipt. Carry out a final draft survey and agree it with the shipper if possible. Secure hatch covers. Follow the charterer's instructions as to the care of the cargo. Monitor the air and sea temperatures and humidity levels regularly. Ventilate as necessary. On arrival at the discharge port, carry out another draft survey and if possible agree it with the receiver of goods. Check the bill of lading and agree the condition for opening the hatches. If this agreement cannot be obtained, the master should confer with head office and the P&I Club. And finally, monitor the process of discharge and record any stevedore damage.